So good afternoon, welcome to Les Sables d'Olonne, the west coast of France. It's day 60 on the racecourse. This is Thursday the 7th of January. And on the racecourse this afternoon, well, a big stretch for Yannick Bestaven, the race leader, building his lead on Maitre Coq since yesterday. He's pretty much doubled his distance ahead of the second place boat, doing twice the speed. That all adds up. And we said before, don't count your chickens though. There is a bit of a slowdown ahead in the future for Yannick Bestaven, but he is looking pretty good just now. There's a long way to go to Les Sables d'Olonne, of course. There's lots of potholes in the road in terms of weather features, some low pressures, some high pressures, light winds. It's extremely complicated, as you would expect on this edition of the Vendée Globe. Behind it is very close, very different strategies between the two groups, between Thomas Riong and Charlie Dallin in the west, Damien Seguin out in the east, both on different sides of the high pressure, and that's going to be interesting to watch. Well, we did hope to have Pip Hare with us in the live today. That was what was planned, but unfortunately Pip has her hands full just now. She has a problem with her port rudder. She has a big crack in the rudder, and she's dealing with that just now. I believe things are under control in the meantime. She has a spare rudder, but it's going to be a question of finding the opportunity to find the right weather to make that change. But Pip did just send us a video just before we came live, and this is Pip and her
good
her
news on Medallia today, this afternoon. See here, got my sails down, and I'm waddling along because about 2 hours ago, just in a routine check of the boat, I discovered that the port rudder stock was cracked, and I'm not far off losing the rudder from the port side. Luckily, I was sailing on port, so that wasn't the rudder under load, and I have disconnected it completely, so it's no longer under load, and I'm sailing on port. Very, very gently. I've got a spare rudder, and I've been working with Joff to make a plan on how and when I can fit that. The deciding factor on that is going to be sea state. You can see I've still got quite a lot of residual swell behind me from the big breeze last night, and then I don't know if you can see these clouds here. So that's another 30 knotter that's coming through tonight. I'm so gutted because it's actually 30 knots slightly from the south. So I was going to jibe onto starboard and ride that along the AZ. Not anymore. So my job now, racing is suspended. My job now is to keep Medallia in best shape possible, wait it out until I got the suitable conditions to put this rudder in, and it's all about just staying safe and stable, and then when the rudder's back in again, I can race again. I'm devastated, but these things happen. It's happened, and I can't change that. All I can do is find a solution, sort it out, and then start racing again when I'm ready and come back at it again. And I've had these things happen to me before, and there's always something to come back for, and there's always something to come back at. So, you know, I'm very accepting of what's happened, and I'm very confident that we will find a solution. The main thing is I'm not at risk, Medallia's not at risk. We've got everything in place to solve this problem and then to carry on racing. At the moment, that'll be either we might have a window to put the rudder in tomorrow. If the sea state isn't suitable, then on the 9th, so in 2 days' time, there's going to be a big high pressure over this whole area, so no wind, and I may well just have to wait for 2 days and do it then. But we'll do it at the best time for ultimate success. And when it's done, I'll be back in the game. So nobody needs to worry. It's happened. We will make the best of it.
Well, pretty tough news from Pip Hare on board Medallia there, just explaining that she's cracked, to say, the port rudder head, the rudder stock. She plans to replace it just as soon as the sea state allows, and we'll keep you up to date. We'll be in touch with her team over the course of the afternoon and just see what the exact plan is. But Pip, resolute and fighting on. It's not a race stopper for her by any manner of means, but it's her toughest moments of the race so far. My guests today are from the Greig City Academy in Haringey, central London. They have a very, very groundbreaking sailing initiative, which has been going on, I think, for 10 years or something round about that, led by the redoubtable Mr. John Holt, who was recently awarded the Sailor of the Decade award in Britain, ahead of many, many luminaries, a galaxy of sailing stars. So let's say hello to John Holt and the guys from Greig City Academy. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're doing great.
Yeah. Hi, Andy. Good to see you.
So we're all fans of the Vendée Globe, are we?
Yeah.
Yeah, big fans of the Vendée Globe. We've been following it all the way through. Obviously, when Alex pulled out, it was a bit of a shame for, I suppose, young sailors watching. But seeing people like Pip going through what she's going through is, to say it's motivating, I think would be an understatement. So it's really, really impressive stuff to watch.
Give us a little bit of a background then. As I say, I think your program's been going on for quite a number of years, hasn't it?
Yeah, we're a youth sailing team called Skyrimouche. We're inner city London school in Tottenham. We race in dinghies and keelboats, but what makes us unique is that we race offshore as well. In 2017, we became the first comprehensive state school to finish the fastnet, and then in 2019, we became the first state school to finish back-to-back in fastnet races. Also, the committed members of our team have a mini tonner, which we are responsible for maintaining and racing around the Solent and offshore.
That's fantastic. And how long has the programme been going for now, John? It's quite a number of years, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's 2013 that we really got going. And that was really, we started the opposite way around, in that we started doing offshore racing or sailing before we then went into dinghies. But that was really necessary to get large numbers of students through our programme. And it's built year on year, and we've had a lot of our former sailors have gone on to quite big, other sailing ventures. We had, Montel got a year's placement to Alex Thompson Racing, which was amazing. And then Sean last year, one of our other students, he did a transatlantic in Suala Oyster, and they won. So it's growing year on year, and I think the current batch of youngsters that we've got, which is, these are three of the main ones, are probably going to take it further, I think, even than the older ones did.
And I gather you have one of your number there went round the fastnet at the age of 13.
Yeah, hi, my name is Kai. In 2019, I was the youngest competitor in the fastnet race. The way Habib thinks I might have been the youngest ever. I mainly race on a laser, but I use those skills and apply it to bigger boats and even offshore racing. My idol is Alex Thompson. When I was 12, I even got a tour around his boat. It's amazing. When he was fixing his boat in the South Atlantic, he was using the same glue that we used to fix our mini tunnel. So it was good to see those skills being used.
I mean, as I say, I'm almost sure there's nobody on the Vendée Globe just now, of all 33 skippers, who would have gone round the fastnet at the age of 13. I may be wrong, but I think that's inspiring in itself.
I mean, hopefully, the great thing that we found about sailing, and especially with the sailors who race offshore, is that they've been really generous and opened up the whole sport for our youngsters. As I say, these three got the tour around the old Hugo Boss. The video you think you can see sailing there is a mini tunner, which they actually sailed to Portsmouth, to Gosport, to go and look around Hugo Boss. So, Kai was right. A lot of the things that they've been doing to get their boat fixed, they can or done up as to be as fast as they possibly can. They see parallels with some of the offshore racing they see. But what I think has been absolutely amazing has been how generous all of the kind of professional sailors have been in inviting them in, welcoming them into the sport, giving them advice, and a little bit of inspiration there as well.
I think there's no shortage of inspiration coming from the Vendée Globe. I'll come back to you in just one second, guys, but let's look at the standings as at midday today. And as I said, Yannick Bestaven increasing his lead significantly since yesterday. He is now 428 miles ahead of Charlie Dallin. Dallin back up to second, Thomas Riong back up to third, and Damien Sagan dropping to fourth momentarily. But there's only 12 miles between Charlie Dallin, Thomas Riong and Damien Sagan on the midday rankings. Then Louis Burton still going nicely in fifth. Remember, he stopped way back at Macquarie Island. He was over 800 miles behind the leader. He's now 534, but he's back in touch with the main group, and we could see more from Louis. Benjamin Dutroux in sixth, Jean Le Cam in seventh, Giancarlo Bodotti in eighth. Boris Herman moving up. He's totally focused on board Sea Explorer Yacht Club de Monaco after his mainsail problem. He's doing 12.5 knots this morning, which is the best of his little group. He's ahead of Maxime Sorel and Isabelle Josh by quite a few miles now. And then, as I said, looking further down our rankings, in 15th, Pip Hare is slowed just now, obviously doing 7.7 knots, but she is quite close with Alan Rura, who of course has La Fabrique, and Alan had the same kind of rudder issues last year on the last edition on the same boat, and obviously he replaced his rudder and completed the race. So every hope for Pip Hare at the same time. Didac Costa in 20th, doing 15.3 knots, nice and steady on board the One Planet One Ocean. Kojiro Shiraishi going well in 21st. Miranda Merrin pretty steady, slightly lighter breezes for her just now. She's waiting for the next big low pressure for her coming in tonight. And then Ari Husela, who we spoke to earlier on today, and 26th, still keeping his project, the wheels on, and going nice and steady, keeping it safe. So going back to the Greig City Academy in London now, John, who really kind of impresses you? Who are your favourites, all of you on the Vendée Globe, other than obviously having missed Alex now?
Yeah, I mean, it's just seeing all of them have a story to tell. I think which is I suppose true of many offshore races, but seeing the way they've coped with adversity, the number of boats which have had damage, fairly major damage, and then repaired it has been amazing. Watching Sam Davis obviously is really inspiring, I suppose. I mean, to pull into South Africa and then have to set off again just shows an astonishing resilience. We all watch the videos of Sam, going along and so enthusiastic. When you're sailing offshore, I imagine that must be particularly difficult. But it's just great, and obviously, I mean, it's obviously quite. We just heard on the beginning of the show about Pip. We obviously wish her well and hope that she manages to get the boat fixed. But that's been really impressive. But then again, the other sailors, I mean, the way that Linked Out has recovered so well, and Chirao, I think that's an amazing story to turn that, to go back from that far into the race and then set up again. Again, just gives real kind of life lessons to all young sailors about the importance of resilience and keeping going, even in some of the most difficult times.
Indeed, I think even, it's always an inspiration when you're going out on a cold day to do your own maintenance, to remember what these guys are doing out in the Southern Ocean. It makes, sanding down your mini tonner or something like that, just make it a little bit more easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, it was Christopher on the end here who did most of that. I actually just stood and watched most of the time and offered a lot of advice. But I mean, that was, it just shows them the importance of boat preparation and the importance of the sort of skills that they're learning. Sometimes maybe it's difficult to see when you're in a shed in Cowes with a small mini tonner where these skills might go. But then, because of course they get the chance to do offshore racing on Scaramouche, maybe they see a bit more of a link with what's going on the Vendée. And I think the picture there, I think, was all of them on Hugo Boss. There's Montel in the background there. Kai is just to his left. I think Jaden's along the far left. And of course, as I say, Montel, when Young Sailor of the Year, Alex Thompson Racing were very quick to offer him an opportunity to go out and sail on Hugo Boss and then to get advice from him. And from that, as I say, it's built even further. That the boat on there is another mini tiller called If, and that one is one where we think the rating for it might be quite good. So, yeah, through doing their sailing, these boys are learning not just about sailing itself, but about the importance of good boat preparation, about the importance of trying to get the boat as fast as they can, trying to get the racing as low as possible, and then just learning a little bit about risk taking, because when they sail the boat, when we do the Fastnet, for instance, I mean, they actually do all of the sailing of the boat. Obviously, we help massively with the navigation, but they actually do the actual sailing, the sail changes, and that they'll learn a lot of the things that they've seen on the Vendée Globe. A lot of the sailors there, talking about planning when they're going to jibe and planning their sail changes, and when to conserve energy and when not to. So it's just great for them to see what they enjoy at the top end of the sport.
Indeed, let's have a very quick look at your video of the Scaramouche sailing out from Cowes onto the Fastnet course, I think last year, and you made a nice little video recounting the tale of the Scaramouche on the Fastnet.
The steering, you can surf a lot of waves on it if you smell something.
I think we had a bit of a false finish there, did we, John?
Yeah, we had 3 false finishes.
3.
We were overjoyed to have finished that race. It was obviously very rough. We had problems, a couple of problems in that race. We had at one point a knocking noise coming from the rudder, and we were sort of again trying to work out, should we continue or shouldn't we? But I think when we finished it, I think everyone who was on that boat would agree it's one of the biggest feelings of achievement they can possibly get. So it's what to do.
So maybe we could ask some of your lads there what their ambitions are in sailing then.
My ambitions are to do the transatlantic and maybe beat Sean Stan.
Oh, good. Anyone else?
We personally probably to become as good as we can on mini tonners and Scaramouche, so that someone gives me a place on a faster and bigger boat.
Good. Anyone else?
To get like any type of job in the sailing world, anything you can get.
Good. I mean, one thing that interests me, John, is how we can take this project and move it nationwide or move it to other schools.
Well, we're starting that process a little bit. We've got a few conferences coming up, one of which we're hosting to try and sort of suggest how other schools could get involved. Our basic message certainly in England is that the sailing industry is once you ask the sailing industry for something, they're very, very supportive. They've supported us all the way through. Lots of names within the sailing industry, North Sails, Spinlock, Ocean Yacht Systems, loads of them have provided us with equipment and safety stuff and advice and everything. We've had advice from some of the best in the sport, Laurie Smith being one of them. Mike Golding has been absolutely great with us in terms of his advice and his stories about what he's done. So I think the way it can be got started in other schools is for other schools really to understand what the benefits of the sport are. And then once they do that, I think what we can do is a bit of the joined up thinking in a way. I think we can, we've learned a lot about what to do right, but we've also learned a lot of things which maybe we would do differently if we were doing it again. So I think there's so much capacity in the sport that maybe what we can do is a bit of joined up thinking for people. If people want to get involved in a certain type of sailing, we probably know the people to go to. and hopefully get as many people, many schools into the sport as we possibly can do.
And obviously we have a global audience here. If anybody wants to be in touch, it's relatively easy to find the Greig City Academy in London and talk to John. I'm sure he'll help. Let me just have a quick look at our meteo situation in the South Atlantic, particularly for the leaders. I say it's extremely complicated and a lot of head scratching going on. Looking at the situation in the South Atlantic to start with, this high pressure system still causing the problems with the light winds, although the leader Yannick Besthaven is now largely out of it, so too Charlie Dallin and Thomas Riong over here in the west. But Damien Sagan routing just to the north of the centre just now, and he's going to have some lighter winds. But in general then, Charlie Dallin and Thomas Riong out on this west side, getting up towards this low pressure system with the northerly and northeasterly conditions for them are coming into that. Yannick Besthaven and much more easterly flow, but as we can see, even up there, the flow is starting to run out. So that's the initial situation for today. Then looking at it in just a little bit more detail, this is for tomorrow. As I say, Yannick Besthaven, although he's made this big advance, over 150 miles in the last 24 hours, 36 hours, he does start to run out of breeze tomorrow. Meantime, Charlie and Thomas going round the top side of this low pressure system, tacking and then coming out to reach the east side of the low and converging with Damien Sagan tomorrow. In the meantime, this group going out towards the centre of the high pressure system in moderate breezes, and I think we're just generally looking towards a little bit of compression over the next few days in general. So now then let's run the animation. Now this is the longer term one that we have. So we're looking basically at this high pressure system carrying on, new low pressure developing down in the east of Chile, and so that will affect these boats here principally as they get come round the Horn, and then this new low up here and another low there. So let's run the animation. So this is now Thursday we're looking at. This is Besthaven here going up towards this a real light winds developing for him, and we're seeing him slow down progressively. Just in the this is now Saturday. We're running forwards to Saturday when we start to see him slow down and pretty much stop for a period, and a chance for Thomas Riong and Charlie Dallin to close up once again. Damien Sagan here, but this tightly packed group are going to stay pretty much together. And we keep talking about close finishes until Les Sables d'Olonne, and that does look to be the case just now. So not all plain sailing then for Yannick Besthaven at the head of the Vendée Globe fleet, running into a little bit of a roadblock in a few days' time, which should slow him down and compact the fleet once again. And this was Yannick Besthaven this morning. We spoke with him, with our French colleagues. He's on great form.
Je suis satisfait de ça. Après, quand je regarde ce qui va se passer devant, les soucis à venir, je sais très bien que l'élastique va se raccourcir et qu'ils vont revenir. Hein. Donc voilà, j'espère qu'il y aura suffisamment de vent pour me permettre de toujours avancer, de ne pas m'arrêter. Même si je n'ai plus que quelques dizaines de milles d'avance, ça suffit pour retoucher les nouveaux vents au nord de ces zones. Donc on verra. Il ne faudra pas stresser, il faudra garder la tête froide parce que je vais en reperdre beaucoup au vu de ce qui m'attend. Et non, ouais, on fait tout pour qu'on n'arrive pas vite au sable parce que voilà, la situation elle est hyper compliquée, quoi. Il y a quand même pas mal d'arrêts. Il y a des minimums dépressionnaires qui vont être sur notre route, qui vont aspirer sous le vent. Donc faire une stratégie c'est compliqué parce que au gré des cartes c'est pas forcément la même chose et puis je crois que personne ne sait vraiment comment ça va se passer. Donc voilà, ça va être du gagne petit, hein, il va falloir être dessus. C'est pour ça là je vais vite mais je me repose aussi beaucoup pour pour avoir les yeux grands ouverts pendant les 24-48 heures difficiles et puis exploiter les vannes devant et faire du gagne petit, c'est-à-dire de la route rapprochante le plus possible à petite vitesse pour se décaler vite dans le nord et récupérer du nouveau vent, quoi. Ça va être un peu ambiance un peu Figaro. Je sais que j'ai des experts derrière moi, mais c'est pas grave. On l'a fait dans l'anticyclone pour s'en sortir comme ça, sous le pied, il y a 2 jours. Voilà. Et ça ne sera pas tout de tout repos, mais on va essayer d'avancer vers le but. Là, ça va. Là, j'ai une quinzaine de nœuds qui traversent au vent. La mer se tape un petit peu, mais ça va. C'est redevenu gris là parce que c'est le nuage à la dépression. Je te dis, j'ai jusqu'à 25 nœuds au rating devant, donc ça déboulait plutôt assez vite. Non, c'est moins stressant que les mers du Sud.
So that indeed is Yannick Bestaven, clean shaven into regatta mode now for the final miles all the way up to Les Sables d'Olonne and in good shape. Charlie Dallin's in good shape as well. We spoke to him on audio, and this is Charlie. Charlie, I have my guests today are a school from inner city London, the Greig City Academy, and they have a sailing program. They take the young people sailing, and they've done the Fastnet. It's quite a successful program. I just wondered if you have some advice for them for their future in terms of inspiration and following their dreams. I mean, obviously, when you were young, you were on the docks in Le Havre and you had a dream of doing the Vendée Globe and racing, ocean racing. So just wondering if you'd give them some advice.
Yeah, how old are they?
All ages from, it's a senior school, so from early teenagers to leaving school.
Okay. Well, follow your dreams and whatever your passion is, just go for it. I was definitely not, no one, I'm not part of sailing family, so it had no ground ready for me, but even though, that didn't stop me in following my passion and my dream, and that should, that's what everyone to watch you follow your dreams and follow your passion and live your life to the maximum. Like what I always say is doesn't matter what you do in life, just do it at the fullest and at the highest level as possible.
So Charlie Dallin there saying it doesn't matter what your dreams are, just as long as you're passionate and try to follow them. A little bit of advice for the guys at Greig City Academy, everybody there, and indeed everybody watching. Charlie grew up, he was not really from a sailing family at all, and did most of it himself. He came to Southampton and studied there at university as a naval architect. So a little bit of advice for you or inspiration for you, John and co.
Oh, it's great to hear. I mean, to be able to get a message like that from the competitor is so near the front and in the middle of that race is absolutely amazing. And when you talk, this great thing it is about sailing. When you talk about where he's from in France, we finished races. They've been to that place. They know it quite well. So we train out of Southampton quite a lot. So yes, it's amazing.
All brings it a little bit closer to you. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Have a difficult times in London just now, but hopefully the summer will be good for you, and we'll see you back out on the water with your project.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks very much. So that's the guys, and there's quite a number of girls involved at the Greig City Academy. Of course, they're all locked down just now. The lads who are there just now are all offspring of key workers, just to explain their protocol. So that's why they're able to join us just now from the school, but there's many more and quite a number of girls involved, and maybe we'll get them back on at some point. In the meantime, that's all we have time for today for the Vendée Live in English. Tomorrow our guest is Marcus Hutchison from the Thomas Rion racing team, so join us then. Any questions as ever, post them on our social media channels, Facebook, Twitter or Instagram. See you tomorrow.